What's up, little dickers? It's the week 6 Vetogate Little Dicked PR. The report this week is that Noah is joining the police force.
I'm part of the 5-0, boys. I'm a
5-0?
part of it.
5-0?
All right, so we got a new segment here, and by the we, I mean I, because I'm going to be shouting it from the rooftops. So I got a pre-recorded segment here, just because I don't want to be waking my wife up because it's 11 o'clock. So we're just going to give it a little listen here. Boys, it's time. Can you believe it? Chris Godwin? The #1 fantasy wide receiver in the league? Not only on Tampa Bay, but in the league? He's so much better than Mike Evans. So much better. I'm standing on top of my roof out here in Westera, screaming to the nation that Chris Godwin is the wide receiver 1 on the Bucks. And he might not be the talent of the wide receiver 1 in fantasy or in the NFL, but he sure has the points to prove it. Oh, I've been waiting for this day since August 28th. That was a draft day, boys, where y'all kind of laughed at me for Godwin. Chris Godwin. Yeah. So as you can see, I was a little excited.
Just a little bit.
Well, so it's not only going to be about my team. I'm going to rant on something that I feel passionate about in the league, and I thought Chris Godwin was a really good starting point.
Yep. Yeah, I think that was a good one to start with.
So let's go into that trade report. So there's 2 trades this week, one that just recently happened and one that happened 2 days ago, a day ago, I forget.
Yeah,
Either
it
way,
was last night. Pretty recent.
yeah. Either way, let's get into the first trade. It was Jameis Winston and Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones crawling his way out of Ramey's team and into the end zone to Josh's team. Um, I don't know how you keep on getting trades with Ramey for quarterbacks. Like most replaceable position in the league, but Ramey can't get a good quarterback. I think he owned Winston at one point too this year,
He
which
did. He
which
had
is
Winston on his team in week 1, so it's pretty funny that he's trading me for him now.
yeah. And Ramey getting the 12th, I guess that's just going to be a trade piece because he's not even going to be able to use that. So
So wait, so he has too many picks that he
he has
won't be
too many
even
picks. He
drafting the
can't use that 12th round pick.
12? That's great. Well, he still snaked it away from me, I guess. So
Yeah.
fuck you, Ramey.
Let's head over to the next pick or trade.
Oh, I don't even want to talk about this one. I do not even want to talk about this one because it is absolute trade rape. Noah took you for a ride, Sterling. He made you look like a little boy here. He little boyed the fuck out of you. We got Michael Gallup for Smokey John Brown and not Daryl Williams. Shit, I was about to say Daryl. Damian Williams, because he still does exist. I think that's a big win for Noah. Obviously, Gallup has been pretty good when healthy. Well, what is he like, the number 7 wide receiver in points per game?
Yeah.
But Smokey John Brown has been pretty impressive too. I think he's been top 20, and he's got a gravy schedule coming up. I personally think those two are pretty even. I know Noah and obviously Sterling give the edge to Gallup, but I think Williams is just way too much to tip the scales in Noah's direction. Like, this guy was drafted in the first round. I know he's underperformed, but he is the starting running back for that Chiefs offense now that he's healthy. And if he stays healthy, he's going to be a fantastic.
Sorry, you cut out after fantastic.
Oh, he'll be a fantastic flex for you, Noah.
Okay.
Sorry about that, boys. My Turtle Beaches just can't handle this ridiculous trade.
Yeah, I think I won it. Obviously.
Yeah, you think you won it.
I could have gotten more. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, Sterling, you're lucky Noah has a heart.
I turned down a better offer because I
Hmm.
didn't want to be run out of the league.
Noah's getting sick of the stace, is basically what he's trying to say.
All right,
He
let's
can't
move on to
handle
the
it.
pickups and drops of the week.
Pickup of the week.
Yeah,
Tyson picked up Will Disley. That wasn't this week, but what was it? 2 weeks ago almost.
yeah, but there
Big
wasn't really.
Montana.
any great pickups recently.
No, and I think it's worth acknowledging because it's a great pickup. He might even be a top 5 tight end rest of the season. Will Disley's been pretty reliable.
Yeah,
He'll be a solid piece of your roster,
yeah,
Tyson. Good shit.
this one hurts me because I had Will Disley in my roster, and then I traded for Mike Andrews, and I dropped Will Disley, and I could have just gotten my top 5 tight end, or
With
possibly,
Will Disley,
without
and you could have
without
still had
trading
Boyd.
Tyler Boyd. So it
hmm
hurts, but I have to accept my lumps because I also get nice diamonds sometimes.
You're already stacked enough at receiver, buddy. We got the drop of the week coming up next.
Yeah, so that's Sterling. There's not really that great of a drop of the week, but trading an eighth rounder for a guy and then not keeping him for like 2 weeks or something. I don't
Not
know.
even a whole week.
Like
Not even a whole week. He was on
like you got
Sterling's roster.
you can't just give up on him after a week and a bit. So that's kind of
Thanks for
weird.
the pick, buddy.
All right, let's move into them. Let's move into them rankings.
hmm
PR number 10, Dylan. I don't like putting you down this low. Your receiver core is so good. It's very good. You only lost because of that OBJ fumble when he was on the punt return, and he shouldn't have even been out there. It was so late in the game. I don't even know why they're putting him out on the punt return, but he was out there and he lost you the game. Um, it's hard to pick which receivers to start every week on this team because he has a lot of very good options. Like Allen Robinson's thankfully on a bye, so it doesn't put him in a bind this week on who he should play. And Tyreek Hill is coming back, so it's gonna be, do I sit Sutton? Do I sit Fitzgerald? Should I even sit Beckham? Like, I wouldn't sit Beckham because you don't really want to keep him on your bench when he goes off, but he hasn't been playing that well lately. Um, yeah, it's he he's very unlucky with his points against. He kind of always matches up against someone who does super well, except last week when he faced Sterling. That was the one week, Dylan, that you could have pulled it off, but you laid a bad goose egg that week.
Yeah, tough luck for Dylan, man. Honestly, all I can say though is you're at the bottom of the barrel here, but I wouldn't be too stressed because by the time Leash Bowl comes around, and like I promise you, you will be in Leash Bowl. I don't think you're gonna lose. I think you may be one of the Leash Bowl favorites because your wide receiver core is just so solid. Like I can't see you actually getting waxed. I think you'll end up being safe. The running backs are atrocious. Sony had a decent week for once, but once buys start hitting, this running back core is just gonna crumble.
Yeah, he definitely needs to look at getting another running back.
And
I
the funny thing is, he actually in our other league that Dylan and I are in, he only got the win because of the OBJ fumble. He won by point 0.5 points. So honestly, you might be happy that that fumble happened, Dylan, because you probably have a better chance of winning our other league. Honestly, though, you should be pretty happy about that.
Wow.
Yeah. Next on the list, moving down one spot with a decently close game, not a bad performance. We got Sturls. Sturls, I know I just roasted you, but you got raped, buddy. You're obviously a big Cowboys homer because you got their receiver duo in your number 2 and number 1 slot, which, up to this point it's probably working out okay since they've both been performing so well. Amari Cooper is the number 2 receiver in fantasy football, but I don't know, we saw that other guy's roster in Nick's league and it isn't working out too well for him. So
He
who
had the
knows how it'll be
entire
rest of
Cowboys
season.
roster though.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked up. Fucking Doback. Um, yeah, I project the Cowboys to get more run focus later in the season, which is maybe why I'm not as huge on Gallup. I think he'll be great though, and I think Amari Cooper is gonna be great as the season goes on. So I think Sterling kind of won that Devonte Adams trade back or a couple
He
weeks back with
definitely
Ramey.
did.
I think that
We're
ended
all
up
laughing
working
at
out
him.
pretty well. Next on this roster, Tevin Coleman. That trade too. I think Sterling's looking pretty good. I know Will Fuller had a monster week, but I don't see that every week. And Tevin Coleman produced pretty well. Just getting back into the swing of things. Like I don't think he had a full workload that game. That offense, if he's healthy, like they're just going to be putting up so much points to the running back. Tevin Coleman for a fifth, and Will Fuller, not too bad. Another running back on this team, Philip Lindsay, is showing that he does not need to be a workhorse for big games. Had another 20 plus point week on less than 50% of snaps. That's nice. Mo Sanu was a good pickup. He's been getting some pretty consistent volume. I probably would have picked him up if Sterling didn't claim him, and he also claimed Gerald Everett. You bastard. But yeah, this team isn't terrible. Needs his stud wide receivers to get healthy, but had to move you down, Sterling.
Yeah, with that trade with me, he now only has three running backs on his team. So if he gets another injury like when Coleman had, he he's not looking like he has a lot of depth. Bye weeks could hurt him.
Another team with good receiver depth and not great running back depth. That's a common theme here at the bottom. Got to get those stud running backs, man.
Yeah. Moving on to the next one, we got James. He moved up two spots, and apparently he doesn't listen to the pod, so we're just gonna move on.
Mm-mm.
Oh, I'm
Too
joking.
busy,
I'm joking.
too busy eating ass is what James is doing.
Oh, wow, okay. I thought it was because he was really wanting to work hard on that first True and Virtuous PR that was coming out.
While he gets his ass eaten simultaneously.
Oh, okay. Um, yeah, he finally moved up, top scorer of the week. He still has kind of a little bit of a shaky receiver core, but he's got some solid RB depth with Breida, Mixon, Mack, and Jacobs. Like those are all like really good running backs. Like Sterling and Dylan wish they had some of those running backs on their team. Maybe not Sterling because he loves his three running backs, but um, yeah, he's got great QB options either way. Hooper's getting fed like crazy in Atlanta. He's stealing from Julio, and the full Seattle stack paid off. Uh, Josh and I were kind of making fun of it bef- before the game, and
Yep.
scored. They scored a touchdown. That was maybe catch and throw of the year so far between Russell
hmm
and Lockett. So I mean, hey, it worked out, and James, you got your first win. You're on the board.
Yeah, he brought it all together, and sadly, it was against me. So, I said last week that if James beat me, I'm gonna blow my brains out on the podcast. But I ended up getting stat corrected and beating Twan, so I can take the L. But I'll have you know, if I lost to Twan, there'd be a dead hish right now.
Oof.
It'd be on your hands, James.
Wow, that's some heavy stuff.
It's pretty heavy. Didn't mean to put that on you, buddy, but you're not listening anyways. Next, number 7, we got Twan. There goes Gallman after he gave up 2 7. That's tough. Even though Saquon should be back in a week, but who knows how long these brittle Giants running backs are gonna last, man. Juju had a nice bounce back week. Got something like 70 yards and a touchdown, so
Hmm.
that's good to see. Who knows how long Mason Rudolph is going to be out? He could play this week though, but he's got a bad brain, man. So I don't know. Still a little scared of Juju, but good to see that. Roster construction. Geez, Twan, buddy. 3 defenses on the roster. 2 is acceptable, but 3. You're not going to be moving up the PR with 3 fucking defenses on the roster. Stop hoarding, buddy. They're not worth that much. Got a new QB though in the sexy man Gardner Minshew. So maybe he won't have to waste his waiver priority on Jimmy Garoppolo anymore. Who knows though?
And
Maybe
he
he'll
actually
pick
didn't
him up
waste the
again.
waiver priority getting Minshew.
Yeah, that's good to see. Yeah, you probably could have done that with Jimmy G, just picked him up for free, but maybe he's learning. That's good to see.
And yeah, all his giant running backs are dead.
Rest in peace.
They're all injured, and he didn't pick up Hilliman. No one picked up Hilliman. I don't think anyone believes in Hilliman in our league. So, uh,
Push me to the edge. All my running backs are dead.
all
So
right,
bad.
let's move on. Nick, we told you if you lost to Tyson, you were moving down. You lost to Tyson, you're moving down. You are the Kirk Cousins of VetoGate. You have you're 0-2 against 500 or plus teams. Um, Evans is very boom bust. Like like he went from like what 40 to 0. That's not great. That's not what you want. I mean, you want the 40, but you don't want the 0. I'd rather have 18 and 18, even less points, or like a 17-17, but instead of the 40 and 0. Thielen's getting a lot more consistent. He's getting a lot more targets. He's getting fed after calling out Cousins. Fournette's getting a crazy amount of opportunities as well. He is the F net. He is going off with Minshew, rocking that train there. Um, Even with a decent outing in Week 5, Jordan Howard scored 49.6% of his total points in Week 4. So I mentioned this in the chat, and I just have to mention it in the PR because when we say it in the PR, it's official. Howard is not a bona fide RB2. He's not.
Not like Nick's trying to sell him for.
Yeah, like you can't expect to sell Jordan Howard for like Zach Ertz or something. I don't know.
Well,
I heard something
maybe
like
to
that.
Sterling you could. Maybe most of us wouldn't, but Sterling's willing to pay up pretty big, obviously.
No, he's got his running backs. He's fine.
Sterling's just clenching his fists right now, man. He's
Oh, he's
pissed.
livid.
I love you, Sterls. But Nick did win at
Oh,
Catan, so maybe
yeah.
he should stick to Catan a little bit more. That's his
He should try and join a
expertise.
fantasy Catan league because
Yep.
man, he'd be pretty good at that. And Jalen Samuels is out, so don't have that backup for Connor anymore.
Tucson moving up a spot after the win over Nick. Aaron Jones is a touchdown machine. He got 4 this
Oh my
week,
goodness.
tying the Packers franchise record. Had a 40-point week, 8 tugs on the season, and like as a Packers fan, man, the mentality is run first and in the red zone. Except for the game against Philadelphia, don't know what the fuck they were doing there. The rest of the season, they've been a run first team in the red zone. So gotta feel good about Aaron Jones. Like he's showing that he's up to that upside of the top 10 back people always kind of expected from him. Just it'll be a matter of if he can stay healthy, which he hasn't been able to in his career. But you gotta feel good about that. Gurley, not getting a ton of carries, but still getting those tugs, man. He had 2 again this week, if I recall correctly. So while he's not really efficient and not getting the volume, he can lean on those tugs, Tyson, until they disappear. But with the Rams, I think they're still going to be there. We already said Will Disley was a really nice pickup. Yeah, basically on this team, the running backs are carrying the load, man. Um, you got Henry, Gurley, and Aaron Jones. Those are the studs of this team. Hopkins had a better week with some yardage, but still hasn't had that big week you hope from. Um, Brown got in the end zone, still got fleeced on that trade, buddy. Cooks with the conky. Who knows if he's going to play this week? But Cooks has definitely settled into being the number 3 on the Rams. That's without a doubt. You can debate all day about Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods.
No.
Just kidding. Cup's the one, but Cooks is certainly the 3.
Yeah, and there's one fantasy relevant Aaron on the Green Bay Packers, and it's not Aaron Rodgers.
Yep, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, with them being switching to that run first mentality, Rodgers is not going to be the top 5 QB he once was, the bona fide guy. And honestly, not even just the scheme. Rodgers, he's a little older now. He's not making some of those sweet throws that he used to. He's grimacing pretty often. I don't think he's someone you're too pumped to be starting.
He had a very nice throw last week, though, moving up in the pocket and kind of evading a sack and getting a nice downfield throw. But
Oh yeah, he's still the goat, but you know.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see as well if Williams takes anything away when he comes back, Jamal. I'm not really plugged into the Packers as much as you, but I feel like he could take a little bit away from Aaron Jones. And this past few weeks, when Jones has been going off, it might be because of that.
I wouldn't be too stressed, man. The third string guy, I hadn't even heard of this guy before. Trey Carson was in. He was getting a decent amount of work against Dallas. He must have had like 10 carries. But
Oh,
the
okay.
thing is, Jones is the red zone guy.
Yeah.
Even with Williams there, Jones is the guy in the red zone. So you got to feel good about that.
All right. Yeah. Well, that's why I'm asking you, because I don't
Yep.
I don't watch
There
Green
you
Bay
go.
games.
You heard it here first, folks.
All right. We got Josh at 4. He's not moving. He's staying still. He might have
Second highest
lost.
score of the week.
Yeah, he might have lost, but he did get the second highest score of the week. Um, this is a quite filthy team for 3 and 2, I feel. I mean, you've got Dalvin Cook And I mean, when Melvin Gordon comes back, you have Melvin Gordon. And then you have Julio Jones, Cooper Cup, and then Josh Gordon has been kind of shaky, but who knows? We might see him turn it around there. He's got the skill to do it, obviously. So kind of filthy for 3-2. You got lucky last week with the stat correction. I mean, not really lucky, but you got the win. When you, well, I guess you didn't, you shouldn't have lost, but it's kind of a
Exactly,
weird,
exactly.
you won on Tuesday sort of
Hmm.
thing, but you weren't lucky in week 5.
Hey,
Um,
maybe after the show, I'll get stat corrected and beat James again. I'll be 4-1. So that'd take a pretty
it's
big
it's
stat correction.
it's Wednesday today, so I don't think you've got this.
Oh,
Um,
rats.
I think Cooper Cup is the most valuable receiver in the league. I think
You really
I
think so,
if I
man?
had
Oh,
Cooper Cup, I don't think I would trade him for anyone.
oh, not even Godwin?
No. Like if
Really?
you offered me Cup for Godwin, I would take it. He's
Really?
super good. He gets targets. Like his floor
You're
is
mad.
so high, and he has close to one of the highest ceilings in the league as well. It's pretty crazy. It's kind of making me sad that I completely dumpstered him um, in my rankings at start of the season just because of his leg injury or his
You
ACL,
fool. What a
and
fool.
he's playing better than he was before. Julio's really quiet this year, especially the last 2 weeks. You kind of want to see more out of him. He's not getting the yardage that he was before. His yardage floor is pretty low. And Gordon is being forced to work. They're forcing him back. They're trying to give him the ball, even if it means losing to the winless Broncos. Um, Although they probably shouldn't have been winless before this week. Anyway, yeah, he's being inefficient, but it looks like they're trying to give him the workload, so it might work out for him. And yeah, 3 tight ends, but you kind of need the one tight end to play this week because Walrus is on bye and Hunter Henry might not even play. So that's a fine 3 tight end, but 3 tight ends.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be happy about starting Jared Cook this week. So somebody swing me a tight end, boys. I'd really appreciate that. I like that a lot. Next, we got Ramon Remy skipping forward. He doesn't ever listen to number 10 to number 4. He's a scumbag, and he's here just for this moment. So fuck you, Remy. I'm just gonna shit on your team. Just kidding. You got CMC, and he's a god,
Oh,
absolute god. But with that workload, man, gotta wonder, is he gonna be able to withstand it? He hurt his back on a little front flip. That seems pretty fragile, man. Good thing Remy picked up Bonifrun. That's how you say his fucking name. I don't
Bonifon.
know.
There's no
Bonifon.
R
I'm
in
not.
there.
I thought it was an R. Fuck, I have it written down as Bonifron. Well, he picked up Bonifrog, and that'll be pretty nice for the safety of CMC. So that's good for him. Finally dropped that dud of Baker Mayfield. Geez, that guy is just pissing everybody off, whether
Oh
it's
my
the NFL
goodness.
or fantasy. He is just a wiener boy, and it's pretty good to see him fail. But good thing Ramey traded for a new QB. Maybe one he can rely on. I don't know. Boom Bust Winston has a bye in a week, and he has some tough defenses in Carolina and then Tennessee after. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out. But besides week one, Jameis Winston's actually been pretty decent, and he's had a high ceiling and floor of 15 points besides week one. So could be the answer rest of the season. Who knows? A lot of injury questions for this team. I got to look at his team and see who I'm talking about here. But yeah, you got Sammy Watkins. Tough to start him because you don't know if he's gonna, leave halfway through the game and just leave a dirty old goose on your roster. Like Sammy Watkins has done that many times over the years. Devontae Adams is probably going to be questionable this week, which is tough because it's a Monday nighter. But good thing he has Geronimo Allison to put up 4 points if Devontae Adams doesn't play.
4 points from the slot.
Yeah, exactly. And then David Johnson's a little questionable right now. I'm sure he'll get back in there, but yeah, a little banged up on this team. But CMC and Edelman's been the clear number one on the Patriots, doing what he does. Clearly the third best team in the league. And yeah, I forgot to mention George Kittle. He finally had a nice week, put up 70 and a touchdown, which is he's living up to that draft price. Finally good to see.
Yeah, he finally scored that touchdown. He got two called back in week 1, and he hadn't scored one since then. So Yeah,
Yep.
finally getting the points that you kind of hoped for there. All right, we got Jaden here at number 2. Um, he was stinky last week. Like his team was gross. Oh, like what was that? I can't like we couldn't really put him any lower because of how well his team has performed since. He had Will Fuller put up what was it, like 50 some points on his bench. So he
He
finally
could
got
have
his
won the game.
breakout. He could have won if
Yep.
he played Fuller. Yeah, I guess, but it's tough. I mean, I know being plugged into however many podcasts I listen to, everyone was saying Will Fuller, Will Fuller, Will Fuller. He's playing the Falcons. Play Will Fuller. He's gonna get right this game. And I had it in my message bar 3 separate times to send a trade to Jaden, but I just didn't pull the trigger because I didn't think I could trade anyone specifically. But the more you learn. Eckler is still involved. He had 15 catches, which I think is the second most of a running back in NFL history, which was pretty nutty. But most of that was in garbage time. He had like 6 or 7 in the last drive. It's ridiculous. Allen lost a lot of targets because of that. Is Mahomes regressing? Like, like he is on point with the amount of touchdowns thrown compared to his yardage. Like his expected touchdowns are like matching with the average. So you kind of expect him to get more points than that. So um, you might see some positive regression there. Bell gets Darnold back. Darnold is back from kissing all the girls. He's back.
Hmm.
He has a normal spleen. He is active for the game. We'll see what that does for Bell, but it should help him because having Luke Falk back there, everyone's just keying in on Bell. He's got no room to run. And yeah, he picked up Peyton Barber from you. He scored a touchdown, but
Oh,
he'll be sitting on the bench
big
for
barber.
who knows how long. And he also picked up Zay
Yeah.
Jones. Man, what a sneaky pickup, hey?
So sneaky that might make pickup of the week next week, boys. Holy. I wish I picked up Zay Jones. uh, oh, Billick, you just got to take notice here in case y'all are working and not looking at the screen. Billick was blue last week. He was in tier 1. Now he is a little green boy in the second tier. You know, that signals a pretty big change. I don't think Billick is this elite team he was at the start of the year. I think he's going to come back to earth quite a bit now that Melvin Gordon is back because, Eckler got so many targets last week, but where were those for Quinoa? I think Melvin's presence bites into both of those guys. I think his first couple of weeks were, you know,
A flash
I
in the
think those are
pan.
in the past. They're flash in the pan. He'll still be a good team. I expect him to move down going forward. Ooh, oh shit.
Well,
We'll
once
see.
he loses to me this week.
And here we have it. Big 5-0, big dick, Mr. Noah. And that's the end of the podcast, folks. Can we move on? Because I don't
All
want to.
right,
I
let's
don't
see it.
want to
Let's go
talk.
to the matchups.
I don't want to talk about this team and his number 1 and number 2 wide receiver overall in PPR with Michael Thomas and Chris Godwin. Oh my God, let's just jerk his dick. Oh, now he just trade raped. Oh, Sterling. Oh, Damian Williams is flex. Oh my God, Smokey John Brown on the bench. Oh my God. Oh my God, trade raped. He's too fucking good. Um, let's knock him down a little bit.
Why
Wentz
not?
finally had a week outside the top 12, and Noah told me he's scared of starting Wentz this week
I am.
against the Vikings. So, I think he's going to be fine, but, Wentz showing that, the thing is about Wentz, he didn't even have a bad game. They were just up by too much. So maybe the Eagles are just too good that he won't even be a valuable fantasy asset. Who knows? I'd drop him. I'd pick up Baker.
Yeah, Eagles
Uh,
defense scored 2 touchdowns that game.
Yeah, exactly. Bad game script. Then the other thing I wanted to point out, trade for Rojo. Not like he gave up a ton for Rojo, and like he's still fine, but that upside might not come because he was back down to earth on a 34% snap count. It could come later in the season, but he will be a bench piece. And now, he has Damian Williams. Doesn't even need to start this dud. So whatever, it doesn't matter for this guy with his immense depth and premium starters. Fucking hosh
Yeah,
posh.
I was just trying to buy some extra depth and so that way I don't need to feel like to go out and trade a third rounder like I did last year. I can just kind of make some lower trades happen and
Yeah, it was a good trade.
still get stuff.
Trade
So
rate. Fuck you, Sterling. I'm just pissed. Matchups.
matchups, very
Tell
close.
us about them.
Everyone this week is very close. We've got like two teams that are 50-50. We've got one team that's 52-48, and then we've got two kind of larger ones, but they should be closer than what the projections are. Um, be very interesting matchups because I mean 1 and 2 are facing off from the PR. We've got 3 and 5, I believe, facing off between Ramey and Tyson. We've got 6 and 4 facing off between you and Nick, and then we've got 8 and 9 and 7 and 10. So like everyone's super close in the rankings in PR who's facing off this week. So there might be a lot of shuffling next week, which will be very interesting.
Yeah, these are some good matchups. This will be a good tell for the rest of the season, kind of a turning point after 5 games. If some people are close to 500, could be time to separate from the pack.
Yeah,
It'll be a good one between me and Nick after that big trade a couple weeks back with Goner, not Goner, fuck
goner.
me, I'm dyslexic.
He's a goner from your team.
Gordon, yeah, he's a goner from my team. Condog and Tyler Boyd for Gordon and Robbie Anderson. And fun fact, if I hadn't done that trade, I would have beat James last week. I'd be 4-1. So it better come through for me this week because if that trade loses me this week too, I am gonna be having second thoughts about life.
Yeah. Um, you probably shouldn't have second thoughts about life. Maybe your trades, but let's not go too far here.
Those second thoughts about life, just that's an everyday thing, Noah. Just
Yeah.
kidding, boys.
It
I'm not depressed.
it should be real interesting this week. I'm looking forward to it. We are going to see within the next 2 or 3 weeks a lot of trades involving picks. There's going to be the people who are in the bottom 3 or 4 teams that are probably going to be selling to the top teams to try and get some value for next year because they'll probably have given up by then. Um, but don't give up because you might get waxed.
You don't want to get waxed, boys.
No,
That's a fact.
I wouldn't want to get waxed.
You
Thank
don't want to
goodness
get
I'm
waxed. Those
undefeated.
are facts. That's it, boys.
What?
You didn't hear me?
I
You
heard you.
heard me. You
I
damn
heard you.
right you heard
That's
me.
why I'm saying what. Okay, whatever. This guy's got me off my rocker right now. Um, well, if you've made it this far, congrats.
How long is this one, Noah?
It's only 33 minutes. They're fine.
Oh, that's not bad at all, actually. It felt longer than that. That's
Yeah.
good.
Well, we're trying to
We're
keep it a
doing
little bit
good.
shorter, but it still ended up being quite long. Either
Well,
way,
half hour is the target time. I don't think the listeners mind, you know. You
yeah.
skippers brands are gonna not listen. Well, I shouldn't say that.
Don't say brands.
Fucking
Nick is
true,
all about the
true and
PR.
virtuous brands are gonna not listen. But yeah, we got our true listeners here, and that's who we do this for.
Yeah,
You boys,
we do
every
it for the
week.
boys because they love it.
Yep.
Anyway, this has been Noah and Josh, and stay little dick, boys.
Stay little dick, boys.